But first, it's interesting that 3/4 of Australians believe Australia is headed for a significant recession off the back of the coronavirus pandemic. Now, this will hurt millennials more than any other age sector. The first time in their lives they experience real fiscal pain. For many, it will be a shock. The good time Charlie economic template they've lived through since birth is gone. It's also interesting that property prices are staying relatively strong, with house inspection numbers and restrictions slowly easing. For example, last weekend in Sydney, nearly 80% of auction properties were sold. Remarkable, considering the uncertainty around the economy. Now, Melbourne also had similarly buoyant results, although Adelaide and Brisbane were slightly off the pace at under 50% clearance rates. Now, the upside for regional Australia when it comes to this sort of thing is clear. Property analysts are suggesting that many Australians living in capital cities will reassess their lifestyles, either through necessity or the fact that they simply want a more low-key life. Those who have lost jobs will look for a quieter lifestyle in the regions, say experts. And there are some people who will actually use the pandemic to reassess how they live their lives. Many people who have reconnected with their families during this crisis will inevitably drift into the regions, turning their back on the helter skelter lifestyle of living in a busy capital city. It's great news for the regions, great news for the bush. Migrating to the regions has long been an aim of the Commonwealth to take infrastructure and growth pressures off the capital cities. There's also a need for migrants to spend more time in the regions rather than cram into capital cities as they do now. So while we're headed for tougher times, certainly the upside in all of this is that the regional centres of Australia will become much more attractive to those who live in the capital cities. Regional cities also need to formulate strategies to attract and keep city slickers coming to their cities and towns. In every pandemic, there are winners and there are losers. The regions may very well be the biggest winners from this crisis in the long term.